The Transformative Power of Self-Love, Lessons from Adrienne Hatton. Welcome to the Pink Parachute Diaries podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women making waves in their fields. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to share insights from my recent interview with Adrienne Hatton, a truly extraordinary author whose work in self-love literature, affirmation coloring books, poetry, and divorce healing has transformed countless lives across the globe. Adrienne isn't just an author, she's a visionary who has created an entirely new language for how we talk about self worth, particularly for Black women navigating the complex intersections of race, gender, and professional identity. Her commitment to empowering women, particularly Black women facing personal and professional challenges, embodies everything our podcast stands for and extends far beyond the page into real measurable change in communities nationwide. When I first encountered Adrienne's work, I was struck by her refreshingly authentic approach to self love. Not the commercialized, superficial version we often see plastered across social media with its bubble baths and scented candles, but a profound, life altering practice that begins with radical acceptance and transforms from the inside out. Self love isn't just bubble baths and face masks, Adrienne shared during our conversation. Her voice carrying the weight of heart won wisdom. It's about standing in your truth even when your voice shakes. It's about honoring your boundaries when it would be easier to collapse them. It's about recognizing your inherent worth in a world that often fails to do so. This perspective resonated deeply with me, and I believe it will with you too in a society where Black women are frequently overlooked and undervalued. Adrienne's message serves as both balm and battle cry, a revolutionary act of reclamation in spaces that weren't designed for us to thrive. The journey to self love is rarely linear, especially for Black women navigating corporate America or rebuilding after significant life transitions like divorce. Adrienne knows this firsthand. Her divorce healing journal emerged from her own experience of reclaiming her identity after a marriage ended, not just as a theoretical exercise, but as a lifeline she created for herself before sharing it with others. When you're going through divorce, she explained with remarkable candor, you're not just losing a relationship, you're losing a version of yourself, a future you had planned, sometimes even a community. My healing journal became a sacred space where I could honor that grief while simultaneously rediscovering who I was beyond those roles and relationships. What makes Adrienne's approach truly unique is her integration of creative expression with psychological healing. Her affirmation coloring books combine the meditative practice of coloring with powerful declarations of self worth. This multisensory approach engages both hemispheres of the brain, creating neural pathways that reinforce positive self perception in ways that traditional self help methods simply cannot achieve. I wanted to create something that would bypass the logical mind that's so quick to reject affirmations, Adrienne told me, her eyes lighting up as she described the science behind her work. When you're coloring, you enter an almost meditative state. Your defenses lower. Suddenly, those affirmations, I am enough, I deserve joy, my voice matters, can penetrate more deeply than they would if you were just reading them off a page or reciting them in a mirror. This innovative approach has proven particularly effective for women who struggle with traditional self help methods. The tactile experience of coloring combined with the repetition of affirmations creates a powerful synergy that can break through even the most entrenched negative self talk, a testament to Adrienne's deep understanding of both neuroscience and the lived experience of marginalized women. During our interview, Adrienne shared a quote from Audre Lorde that guides her work. Caring for myself is not self indulgence, it is self preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. For Black women, especially, claiming the right to prioritize our well being is revolutionary in a world that expects us to perpetually sacrifice ourselves for others. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical resistance against systems designed to extract our labor without replenishing our spirits. Adrienne's poetry collection further explores this theme, examining how self love intersects with racial identity, gender, and societal expectations. Her verse doesn't shy away from difficult truths, but always points toward possibility and liberation, creating spaces where readers can both mourn what has been taken and celebrate what can never be stolen. Poetry allowed me to say things I couldn't articulate in prose, she reflected, her voice softening. There's something about the compression of language, the rhythm and imagery that can express the inexpressible, the particular pain and joy of being a Black woman in America. One poem that particularly moved me describes the experience of code switching in corporate environments, the exhaustion of constantly translating oneself for white comfort, and the eventual liberation that comes from authentic self expression. It concludes with these powerful lines: My voice, unfiltered, is my greatest power. My truth, unedited, is my freedom. These words have become a mantra for many of her readers who have spent too long contorting themselves to fit into spaces that were never designed to accommodate their full humanity. This sentiment encapsulates what makes Adrienne's work so vital. She doesn't just offer platitudes about loving yourself. She acknowledges the structural barriers that make self love challenging for Black women while providing practical tools to overcome them. Her work exists at that crucial intersection between personal healing and collective liberation, recognizing that the two are inextricably linked. During our conversation, Adrienne shared 5 transformative practices that have helped her clients cultivate genuine self love in environments that actively discourage it. These aren't abstract concepts, but practical strategies that have been tested and refined through her extensive work with women across diverse backgrounds. First, boundary setting. Many of us, especially Black women, were raised to be accommodating, Adrienne noted, with the clarity of someone who has both lived this truth and helped others overcome it. We were taught that saying no was selfish or disrespectful. Reclaiming our right to have boundaries is essential to self love. Second, intentional community building. Surround yourself with people who see your full humanity, she advised, emphasizing the word full. People who don't require you to shrink or perform, who celebrate your successes without jealousy and support you through challenges without judgment. Third, regular digital detoxes. Social media can be wonderful for connection, but it can also reinforce harmful comparisons and unrealistic standards, Adrienne explained, her concern evident. Taking regular breaks allows us to reconnect with our authentic selves rather than our curated online personas. Fourth, embodiment practices. Trauma and societal oppression can disconnect us from our bodies, she observed with the insight of someone who understands this disconnection intimately. Movement practices, whether dance, yoga, or simply mindful walking, help us reclaim our physical selves as sites of pleasure and power rather than utility or objectification. Fifth, creative expression. Creativity isn't a luxury, it's essential to our well being. Adrienne insisted with passionate conviction, whether through writing, visual art, music, or cooking. Creative expression allows us to process emotions and experiences in ways that logical thinking cannot. What struck me most about these practices is their accessibility. They don't require expensive retreats or specialized knowledge, just commitment and consistency. They're democratic in the truest sense, available to anyone willing to prioritize their own well being, regardless of economic circumstance. Adrienne also addressed the particular challenges Black women face in corporate environments, where we're often handed pink slips while underperforming men receive golden parachutes. Her advice was both practical and profound, grounded in her extensive work with women who have navigated these treacherous waters. Document everything, she emphasized, leaning forward intently. Your achievements, your ideas, the positive feedback you receive in environments that are designed to make you doubt yourself, having concrete evidence of your value is essential. She continued, build strategic alliances, not just with other Black women, though that solidarity is vital, but with people who have institutional power and are willing to advocate for you. Mentorship isn't enough. You need sponsorship, people who will speak your name in rooms where decisions are made. Most importantly, Adrienne stressed the importance of maintaining a strong sense of self outside of professional identities. Your job is what you do, not who you are, she reminded us, her voice gentle but firm. When your self worth isn't entirely tied to your career, professional setbacks, while painful, don't devastate your core sense of self. This wisdom is particularly relevant in today's uncertain economic climate, where layoffs and restructuring have become commonplace. Building resilience through self love practices creates a foundation that can withstand professional turbulence. A lesson Adrienne has helped countless women internalize before crisis strikes. Adrienne's work on healing after divorce offers similar wisdom for personal upheavals. Her journal guides women through the process of rediscovering themselves after relationships end, emphasizing that endings can be beginnings in disguise if we approach them with intention and compassion for ourselves. Divorce is often framed as failure. She noted with the sensitivity of someone who understands this stigma firsthand, especially for women who are still socialized to believe that maintaining relationships is our responsibility. I wanted to reframe it as an opportunity for growth and realignment with your authentic self. The journal includes prompts that help women process grief while simultaneously envisioning new possibilities. Questions like, what parts of yourself did you set aside in this relationship that you can now reclaim? And what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Guide users toward post traumatic growth rather than just recovery, a fundamental shift in perspective that has helped thousands of women transform pain into purpose. This approach has resonated with women across diverse backgrounds, but particularly with Black women navigating the intersecting challenges of racism and sexism while healing from relationship loss. The cultural expectation of strength and resilience often denies Black women the space to fully process their grief, making Adrienne's explicit permission to be vulnerable all the more revolutionary. Black women are often expected to be strong for everyone else, Adrienne observed with profound understanding. We're rarely given the space to be vulnerable, to fall apart, to need support. My work explicitly gives permission for that vulnerability while providing tools to channel it toward healing. Throughout our interview, Adrienne returned to a central theme. Self love is not selfish. It's the foundation upon which we build lives of purpose and impact. It's the oxygen mask we must secure for ourselves before assisting others, not just metaphorically, but as a practical reality in lives often characterized by caretaking and emotional labor. You cannot serve from an empty vessel, she reminded us. echoing a sentiment expressed by Eleanor Brown. Taking care of yourself isn't taking away from others, it's ensuring you have something meaningful to give. This perspective challenges the false dichotomy between self care and community care that often plagues discussions of well being. Adrian's framework integrates both, recognizing that personal healing and collective liberation are inextricably linked. That we cannot effectively fight for justice in the world if we are perpetuating injustice in our relationship with ourselves. As our conversation drew to a close, I asked Adrienne what message she most wanted to share with our listeners. Her response was both simple and profound, delivered with the quiet conviction of someone who has walked through fire and emerged transformed. You are worthy of love and belonging exactly as you are right now, not when you lose weight or get the promotion or find the partner or achieve the goal right now in this moment with all your imperfections and uncertainties. You are enough, she continued, her voice gaining strength. And knowing that, truly knowing it in your bones, doesn't lead to complacency, it leads to courage. When you're not exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth, you have so much more energy to pursue your purpose. This message isn't just about feeling good. It's about liberation in a world that profits from our self doubt and thrives on our insecurities. Loving ourselves becomes a radical act of defiance. When we refuse to participate in our own diminishment, we challenge systems designed to keep us small. When we claim our inherent worth, we reclaim our power to transform not just our own lives, but the world around us. The work of self love isn't just personal, it's political. When Black women value ourselves unapologetically, we challenge narratives that cast us as less than. When we prioritize our well being, we disrupt expectations of endless sacrifice. When we speak our truths without dilution or apology, we create space for others to do the same. So I challenge you today, what would change in your life if you truly believed you were enough? How would you speak differently? What boundaries would you set? What dreams would you pursue? What voice currently silenced would you finally allow to sing? Self love isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning. It's the foundation upon which we build lives of purpose, authenticity, and impact. It's the wellspring from which genuine connection and community grow. It's the courage to live as if you matter because you absolutely do. In the words of Audre Lorde, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. May Adrienne Hatton's wisdom guide you toward that power, not someday, not when you finally earned it, but right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. The revolution begins within, and it begins today.